You know what really sucks? That 99% of you are going to be so motivated and excited today. 2 days later, you're going to go back to the same place where you were before.
Multi-millionaire entrepreneur with over 2 decades experience and founded the NGU. Growing up in the war zones of Croatia at a young age of 16, learned the art of negotiation and risk management. My friend, Mr. Emil Juresic.
Every human can handle different.
What was it for you?
The trick is, I didn't see it as a bad thing. I loved it.
Here's the thing. There's people like you that grew up in a war zone of Croatia.
There are bombs flying above your head. I remember one day, my mom, my brother, and my dad, we are sitting in one room and bomb literally hit the building. Everything got destroyed and somehow a miracle we survived.
Alrighty guys, today's guest is a multi-millionaire entrepreneur with over 2 decades experience in the real estate game, property development, IT, and finance. Growing up in the war zones of Croatia at a young age of 16, he had to quickly learn how to navigate life amongst stress and chaos. Learn the art of negotiation and risk management as he sold cigarettes on the black market, trying to make ends meet for his family who was struggling with food and water shortages. Moving to Australia just short after that, being given a new opportunity and was able to escape the horror of what was actually happening over there. He set out with a determined mindset and an obsession to create massive success. Having sold countless millions and millions and millions of dollars in real estate and founded the NGU real estate company, which has now quickly rose to one of the number one most popular real estate companies here in Australia, doing hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars in sales. So please help me welcome the guy who went from finding bikes on the street and fixing them up and selling them on the streets of Croatia to now one of Australia's top entrepreneurs and the founder of One Life Club, which is a mentorship community helping others learn the skill set of what it takes to create a successful life. My friend, Mr. Emil Juresic.
Boom. I got a goosebumps, man. You said it really nicely. Thank you for having me, man. Look forward to this.
Man, I'm really excited to sit down and have a chat with you. I've actually followed your stuff for a while, and I've watched all your stuff, and I've loved your attitude of, you really do have a no bullshit approach to life and business, which is kind of rare because, you get on social media these days and you see a lot of people like, here's 3 ways you gotta, which is all good, but I kind of love your approach, and it's funny we're just sort of talking about that. And do you think that's been one of the biggest catalysts for you? Like, you've amassed hundreds of thousands of followers now on social media as well. Has that been a big catalyst of you just showing up absolutely just ruthless?
I think I never wanted to pretend that I'm somebody else.
Yeah.
I always wanted to be true to myself and be real me all the time. And the way I see it is, people want authentic. I want to know you as a human, or John or Bob or whatever person is. I think people, there's too much on social media. Everybody looks happy. Everybody looks successful, everybody looks rich, and looks like nobody's dealing with any shit in life. And with me is, hey guys, I'm a human, I'm making tons of money, I'm dealing with lots of shit, I have great days, bad days, or whatever, like every other human. But with me is, one advice I give to anybody, man, if you want people to follow you on social media, just be you, man, because there's enough room for all of us to create amazing things by doing what we love, by being ourselves, and there's no need to to pretend to be somebody else. And with me is, I'll tell you the way it is. If I don't like you, I'll tell you to your face, champ. I don't like you. That's the way it is. So I don't. I'm happier saying what's on my mind than holding and not saying it.
I realized that when I first started this podcast, because I started it years ago now, and I remember my first episode, I was thinking, I got to try not to swear. Don't swear, because you put in, you don't. And I remember my first episode, it was so hard because I was like, don't swear, I'm gonna. Then my first interview, no swearing, and then I remember one of my, I think on my second guest, he's like, can I swear? And I was like,
fuck it.
I was like, yeah, I guess, And then what I started to realize after a couple, I just started to actually I'm gonna say what I want. I'm not gonna hold anything back. There's been episodes where I've talked about like fucking my sex life and fucking everything, and it's gone mental. And then the feedback I started to get from it almost instantly was like, I love the authenticity and rawness of your podcast.
I think that what's real, that's what people want. Yeah. People want to have reality. People want to have people that are authentic. You know what I mean? And that's one thing on social media with me is, I don't try to go out there with attitude, zero fucks given, but with me is, hey, I have learned the value of one life. Today is the day that I never lived before. When this day is over, I'm going to be one day closer to my ultimate destination, which is me being 10 fucking feet under, dead. So, we are all going to be on this planet, if we are lucky, 60, 70 or 80, 90 years. We might die earlier, who knows? So with me, I want to live my life on my terms. I want to be truly happy. I want to be me. I want to do things that completes me as an individual. And then I can find my own true happiness. So, I don't want to go on social media and say things because this is what people want to hear. I want to tell you my story, who I am. You don't have to follow me. You don't have to, and look, the reason why I'm on social media myself specifically, because I never wanted to die without passing my knowledge to others. And I like to think I've learned something that can be valued to other humans. And with me is, I simply go out, on socials every single day and I give people my peace of mind. And if that can change somebody else's life for better, great.
Your company is called NGU.
Stands for Never Give Up.
What does that mean to you?
Everything. Every human, including yourself and myself, we all have gone through amazing part of our life, but we also have hit hurdles as well. Could be bad relationship, could be war zone where I was in, could be struggling business, and easiest thing is to give up. What I have built within myself is that attitude and then mental state of mind to keep pushing through, to keep moving forward, not to give up. So it means everything. So when I was speaking the name of the business, it was important to me that there's a meaning behind everything I do, including the business name of the company. So I started with NGU as a brand, and now NGU Group, should I say. Now we have NGU Real Estate, NGU Property Development, NGU Media, NGU Lawyers. So companies now grown into conglomerate or larger corporation where we have different names of our brand. And some majority of the companies are all starting with NGU, obviously, except One Life Club. That's a completely different brand to what we have built. And yeah.
So that's the thing, right? So you said, and I want to get to a bit of your upbringing and find out the things you learned. But the thing is, like when I was looking through all this, I was like, never give up. I like that because I do believe, I think everyone does have a story. Everyone has some sort of adversity. But here's the thing. There's people like you that grew up in a war zone of Croatia, come over here, wasn't born here. There's people that have gone through the worst things. The people who have nearly died, the people who have been raped, the people who have lost their parents, craziest, most horrific things that have come out the other side to create massive success. And there's people that have, still gone through adversity, but let it destroy them and create and stop them. So what do you think is really the biggest thing that is why some people come out the other side of adversity and actually make incredible things happen? And why do you think some people let it become the reason why they can't do it?
My childhood wasn't easy, but I will never say my childhood was 10 times harder than somebody else who was born in Australia, who didn't, go through life where they had no food, no clean water, no electricity for years and so on. Because we all deal with different things. And don't forget, every human can handle different amount of pressure in life. Some people stress over, not knowing what to wear in the morning. They might have so much clothes. Oh my God, I don't know what to wear. I was wearing that shirt 2 days ago, 3 days ago, or whatever. So everybody's got different level of how much they can handle mentally. I always say I'm very fortunate. I'm very blessed that God has given me ability to be capable of dealing with things the way I deal with them at the moment. And some people, some kids, they might have parents that are splitting up, and that can have a massive effect on them. So I never compare how hard it was for me to somebody else. And I never say, you know what, that's why I'm successful, because my life was a lot harder, because we all deal with different things, I guess, differently. But one thing that I will say that anybody that is dealing with anything, good, bad, ugly, whatever, anybody can do extremely well if they can truly understand value of living, value of one life. With me, every person, when I see them, I'm going to always tell them one thing. Let's just make something fucking clear. We're all going to die one day. There's no escaping that part. This life is not rehearsal. We're not going to get to 85 years old or 90, die, and just before we die, we go to God and say to him, hey, buddy, can we start this again? You're not starting this again. Even if you're a fucking dinosaur, you're going to die in 5,000 years. So there's only one life. So we only have limited amount of time on this earth. It's right here. We were born here. We're fucking dying there. Everything in between is up to us, what we want to create or what happiness we want to create. So if anybody can look at themselves in the fucking mirror and say, and truly, speak to themselves and not blame anybody else around them and say, hey, buddy, you got one fucking life. Now, you can be depressed, you can be sad, you can find million excuses. That doesn't stop clock ticking. Clock gets ticking. When this interview, is finished, we both are 1 hour older. We can't take it back. That's it. And clock ticks. Clock keeps ticking. No fucking stopping there. So, with anybody, as long as they can understand, hey, you know what? I have one life. And the reality is, yes, I am, I will go through shit. I will have massive problems. I will have little problems. Whatever is happening in front of me, I have to deal with it. So if you have problem in your business today, it's not going to go away. So you either have that mindset, you know what? I'm going to be full of love. I'm going to be full of energy and a right mindset to deal with anything that is in front of me. Or you can say, hey, you know what? I'm sad, I'm miserable, problem is going to be still there. You're going to deal with it. So anybody that wants to do anything, whatever, childhood, good childhood, bad childhood, we are all in charge of our fucking journey. And it's up to us if we can take, if anything, anybody that had a hard life, I would say to them, use that as advantage, because you have learned how to suffer. You have learned how to go through hard times. Use that as your advantage to do good in your life.
Yeah, a lot of people say motivational speaking isn't very useful. A lot of people will say motivational speakers won't actually change your life. And there's that sort of conversation of just being motivated isn't enough. And I was thinking about this the other day, and I was like, actually, no, it really is enough. Not enough. It's really useful, because when you go see a motivational speaker, Les Brown, like Les has come on the show as well, and what they've got this masterful ability to do is help people change their perspective of how they view a situation. And if we can view our problems and our adversity from different lenses from what we're looking through, our life can completely change if we reframe it. And that's what I'm hearing you saying. It's really a different perspective. There's that story, I don't know if you've heard of the two brothers growing up with an alcoholic father. One grows up to become an alcoholic, and the other grows up never touched up alcohol in his life. And they ask, why are you an alcoholic? Well, my father was. Why do you not drink? Well, my father was an alcoholic. And it's the exact same thing, exact same event, exact same situation, different perspective.
But also at the same time, you can bring any speaker to somebody. You can bring Tony Robbins, Gary Vee, anybody. I can sit in front of anybody. I can tell them everything I know. It's all irrelevant if you don't want to open your mind to hear and learn and have that change you for better tomorrow. I always say, I speak on a lot of events in front of freaking thousands of people. First thing I always say to 1,000 people when I get on the stage, you know what really fucking sucks? that 99% of you are going to be so motivated and excited today. 2 days later, you're going to go back to the same place where you were before. You won't take any action. So, can motivational speakers have effect on you or me? Yes. But two of us have to be open. You know what? I'm going to listen to this motivational speaker or whatever it is, whoever is speaking. You know what? And I'm going to open my mind and heart to learn, to get better, to take action. But if you're going to have that closed, if you don't, like I went to school. I don't think I learned anything because I didn't want to fucking be there. So you can put any teacher in front of me and I would still be a shit student because I had no interest. I didn't want to learn anything from there. So that's a huge part is you got to open yourself and you don't need any motivational speaker to change you. You can meet 20 people every day that can have a great impact on your life. Doesn't matter who they are. They don't have to be motivational speakers. You can have, for example, I always keep telling a story about a doorman. I was staying in Melbourne Towers, Melbourne Casino. There's a hotel there, and I walk out of my hotel, and there was a doorman right standing in front. And I'm walking out. He said, "Good afternoon. How you going?" He was so happy. I enjoyed talking to him for 15 minutes. That guy had such a massive impact on my life. I almost wanted to be him. How happy he was. And I'm a happy guy. I love my life. But this guy was just 6 levels above me, I got a feeling. So he had a massive impact because with him, I was like, man, this guy is just so passionately happy as a person, the way he speaks to people. I was like, man, you had a massive impact on me. So, but I'm open to get better, to learn.
Responsibility. It's got to start with this responsibility to actually be like, I'm going to take control of my life and from this point onward, make sure it improves daily instead of letting the past sort of control me. I'm really curious to know, what was it like for you? So back in Croatia, the war's happening, the Yugoslavian wars, right?
Yes, Yugoslavia, yes.
I visited Croatia a couple of years ago and I went to, I forget one of the cities, and they made us look out and they said, have a look at all the roofs here. All the bright orange roofs are the brand new ones that got bombed. And it was maybe 1 in 3 houses. And it got, in my head, it was the first time I could really understand what it would sort of been like to live there. So what was it kind of like for you as a kid going through all that? And what were some of the biggest lessons you learned from there that you think has made you who you are today?
Look, it's not easy for any child not to have anything to eat today. I mean, if I don't eat by 2 o'clock, I'm hungry. I need to eat. Imagine you're so hungry and you're 11 years old and there's nothing to eat. Imagine that, see this water, crystal clear. Imagine if the water you're drinking is dirty or if there's any. Imagine you got no electricity. So of course it's hard. But what I have learned and then not to forget, there are bombs flying above your head. I remember one day, my mom, my brother, and my dad, we are sitting in one room and bomb literally hit the building and room next to us, that everything got destroyed and somehow miracle we survived. So is it how has that shaped me? I learned how to survive. I learned how to focus on just living. Not, now people are stressed, I want to become a millionaire, I want to become successful and buy Ferraris and buy Lamborghinis. So with me, it was like, we just want to survive today and tomorrow and day after. We want to survive day at a time. And I really learned value of life, how humans' life don't matter. It can be gone in a second because of whatever some politicians decided. They don't like each other. They wanted people to kill each other for no fucking reason. But I also learned the value of life to me, that, man, I'm here today, I might not be there tomorrow. So I think survival is what I have really learned, and at such a young age I had to sell candles, cigarettes, so I can make somehow money, so family can buy food on the black market, so we can bloody not starve, because dad was in a war fighting and I was home with my mom and my younger brother. And then I got a lot closer to my family. Because that's what matters. Because when you don't have anything, that's the most important thing that I had: mom, dad, and my brother, and So when you grow up with nothing, when you are hungry for food, and then when you come to country Australia, man, you got food on the table. There's no bombs flying above your head. You know, you got electricity. You can go to school. Fucking life is beautiful. Everything's upwards from there.
I often, it's not like you're the first refugee story that's come and created massive success, right? So it's quite often you hear someone who's sort of come to Australia or come to America or, from somewhere else where it was harder, and they've created all this success. And then you look at the average person here in Australia, and I use this as an example all the time. Like, the average person here in Australia does fuck all, and I really believe it's because it's too good here. It
is too good here.
It really is, because it's like, you share that story and you can really sort of come from being like, you guys don't understand how good it is, but you only know what we know. And what I say to a lot of people, I say, because the problem with this is, I say this when I'm in a group, in a room, where I say, put up your hand if you've got a partner. Everyone puts their hand, keep up your hand if you think you're a good partner. And they all keep their hand up, looking at their partner. I'm good. I'm like, I feel sorry for all of you. Because if you think good is great, then that's the biggest problem already. And what we've been conditioned with here in Australia, to celebrate good. You walk past the average Australian down the road and say, hey, go on, mate. And they go, yeah, not too bad. Like, that's a fucking... So if you're not bad, then you're good. It's the great Aussie sort of, we don't want you to be fantastic, but we don't want you to suffer. Just be good. And in my opinion, it's the 7 out of 10 life, because you can have a minimum wage here, right? You have a minimum wage, still live here on the Gold Coast, nice house, share it with a few friends, have a brand new car you've financed, go out to dinner still once a week, get some margaritas at Cali Beach Club with some girlfriends too, and try and impress people, put on your social media. Then you're broke though, but then you do it again next week. That's a pretty damn good life. And the problem is that the hunger just isn't there, because it's like, well, I can do nothing and live this life. But if I want this life, I've got to go through risk, adversity, struggle, discomfort. Just stay where I am.
It comes down to every individual. What do people want out of life? I mean, saying that there has been, I came here as a refugee. There's a lot of people that came to Australia when I came, but not everybody's extremely successful. And not every person that was born here is extremely successful. I think, it's everything is really relevant. I always say that everything comes down to what we want out of life. What is success to you? Let me ask you a question. What is success to you?
It's funny because I've got a quote here. So before I read it, so success for me is literally living a life. So living a life in my highest values, living a life that's on purpose for me. Right? So I can wake up every single day and actually be like, I'm so in love with the life I live, and have a goal towards my future that I'm actively working on that will get more out of me than I ever would have asked for. So my ultimate goal is to get to the end and go, I'm so glad that I gave everything.
You lived. Yeah. But success to every person is different. Some people are happy working for somebody else for $80,000 a year because, they're happy because they get home at 5 o'clock. They spend time with their kids. On Saturday and Sunday, they spend time with the kids and they don't want any risk. That makes them happy. If that makes you happy, you are successful. That doorman, going back to the doorman, that guy, I would tell him, don't freaking do anything else because he looks so happy. To me, he's very successful. So we all chase different things in life. We all want different things. A lot of people, if they live my life, they wouldn't be successful. They'll be miserable because to them, I'd be like, oh my God, I employ 300 plus people right now. To some people, that would be, oh my God, I don't need that headache. That's not a life. To me, it's fun. I love people that I'm working with. I love the challenges. I love companies we're creating. I love the progress. That's me. But not everybody wants the same thing. What you want, you are living life with what I would call lots of fucking purpose, and that fulfills you and it makes you happy. But we all want different things in life. So any person everything we do, it's our fault. If you're born here, if you want to have a cruisy life, what you described, you can still go for one dinner a week and have some margaritas and take photos, put them on Instagram and be broke next week. That makes you happy, buddy? Go and be fucking broke every week. If that makes you truly happy. Does it really make you truly happy? If it doesn't, take action. Do different things so you might be happier tomorrow.
So Zig Ziglar has a quote.
Great guy.
Success means doing the best we can with what we have. Success is the doing, not the getting. In the trying, not the triumph. Success is a personal standard, reaching for the highest that is in us, becoming all that we can be.
I start my day by being grateful. I wake up, I'm breathing. I can walk. I can have a shower. I can go and do things that I love. I'm already successful having mental state of mind that I'm thinking like that. And I think to me, true success to me is being happy with everything I do. I do everything I want to do every day. I didn't have to come to this podcast. I didn't have to spend 1 hour with you here. I wanted to. I got invited and I've done my research. I was like, man, this guy does great things. I want to be here. I do run companies that I want to be part of. I enjoy it. I enjoy working with people that I'm working with. I see it as a fun. So by everything I'm chasing every day, how can I be happier today? I want to be happy today. I want to be happy tomorrow, which is a big thing because anybody that wants financial freedom, a lot of people start doing things for the sake of making money, not for the sake of being happy. And because when you're making money, the reality is whatever business you start today, you're not going to make millions today. It might take you 1 year, 5 years, 10 or 20 years for you to reach the level where you're actually making money. Yeah. But if you really don't love what you're doing, that time between you starting and the time that you're going to start making money, you're not going to be fucking happy. You're going to be miserable fuck. So, you got to be passionate about living and things that you do every day. Then everything else becomes a bonus.
What's up, Dream Nation? Have you ever wondered how far ahead your life would have already been if you had got access to this type of content at a younger age? Look, this is why I need your help. I'm trying to build the #1 personal development platform out there to teach you guys the tips, tricks, and attitude of what it takes to live your dream life and to bring the type of education that we all wish we had in school. This show only grows by word of mouth and new subscribers, so it would mean the world to me if you could smash that subscribe button right now, leave us a 5-star written review or drop a comment below and share this episode with a friend. I would be forever grateful. All right, now let's get back into this episode. So before we started this episode, you were saying, for the last 25 years, you've worked your ass off. Yeah. And literally probably the last month, I've had a bit of a realization that I'm like, I'm never... And as much as I have known this, but I guess it just made a deeper sense this last month. I'm never, ever going to arrive to where I think I want to be, ever. And because every single time I create my next goal, I move the goalpost again. So the feeling of arrival is never actually going to be there.
And also you want different things at different stage of your life.
Yeah. But I got really okay the other day with going, I'm not in a race anymore. I'm in a marathon. And I'm going to enjoy my pit stops. And I'm going to drink a cup of water at my break because I need to recharge. But the marathon for me is never going to stop. And what I've got to do is to make sure that the joy for me is not the finish line. The joy is just every single step. And I want to enjoy that. And have you always sort of had this attitude, being like, I love my life, this is good? Or during those 25 years of just obsession, did you go through any periods of losing yourself in the process or just chasing the money or was you all sort of...
The beautiful thing about life, we keep learning. We keep learning every day. Most importantly, we keep learning about ourselves. And sometimes it probably took me very long time to learn how to breathe, how to live. It took me probably a very long time to realize there's a blue sky outside. Because all my life, I was just head down, bum up, just focus on work. And so it takes every individual time for them to realize, how valuable the life is. But one thing to me is I knew what I enjoy doing. I knew always what makes me happy. But I also knew that for me to get to where I want to be, there's price to pay. So the reality is it's not going to be fun and roses all your journey. You're going to be dealing with so much fucking shit in the process. If you tell me, hey, Emil, let's two of us create a company that makes this water, I will say, fantastic, let's do it today. But the reality is for us to make this business a reality and profitable one day, we're going to fucking go through some hardship, be creative, work so many hours a day to actually make it, reality one day. So with me, that I always knew where I wanted to get to, but I never had, same thing what you said, I never had a goal, hey, I want to be worth 100 million. With me, my place where I wanted to get to, and I'm constantly chasing it to keep bringing best out of me every day. And I pushed myself to this level. I was like, man, I know I can push myself to the next level because I enjoy that. I enjoy the process. And it's important that us as humans don't lose ourselves on that journey. So if your goal is to do whatever, just don't lose yourself in the journey, because journey is not going to be fucking easy. You're going to hit some hard times. And it's important that you still have a great state of mind getting out of it, not beat yourself up. And I have a friend of mine, he failed 16 times, starting 16 different businesses. I mean, how many times you need to fucking fail before you realize fucking just give up? 16 times, he kept trying. 17th time, he started a company called Cardwise and ended up selling it for $63 million. Now he's got a company number 18, which is carexpert.com.au. I think is worth 5 times more or 10 times more, whatever the number is. But he didn't give up. He just kept pushing. And because he didn't lose himself in the process of hardship or failing or having, issues and so on. So that's the key.
Talk to us about, we've got smart work and we've got hard work. And I was going to say to you, what's more important? And I know you'd say both are important, because it's kind of a dumb question. Both are important. But I want you to really talk about, what does hard work actually look like? Because I think in this generation, this day and age, there's a bit of like haziness of hard work, because you got the crypto boom and you got all these sorts of things where you've had some people come through.
You say crypto boom. How is that going now?
Yeah, right. But like there's people, let's say in the last 5 years or a decade, there's people that have, I guess, probably created success. If we take the pool of the last 100 years, the people who got lucky creating success, there's probably more on this end of the 100 years, right? Through the internet or blowing up some social media videos or buy some shit coins and, whatever happens. And then there's a lot of people that I see have lost an actual work ethic, because they're like, well, I still want to have my weekends. I want to be able to watch Netflix. I need to look after my nervous system. I got to do all this stuff. And lately I'm like, it's such fucking bullshit, because I'm a big believer that you've got to use 100% throttle to get the plane off the ground. You're not going to get a plane off the ground by just being like, oh, we're going to look after it. Let's just coast. But when you're in the air, you can chill a bit and you can come back a little bit. But talk to us about those first 25 years for you, when you're really hustling, you've built all these companies. What is actually hard work? Like, what's actually required to get to where you've gotten to?
I still haven't met extremely successful person that haven't worked hard. I haven't met one yet. And trust me, I meet a lot of people. I'm surrounded by a lot of amazing, successful people all the time. I still haven't met a single person that said, hey, I made $500 million by not working hard. If it does exist, I call them by accident millionaires. A lot of people did put $5,000 in crypto, and that turned up to be $3 million the next day. But did they end up turning that $3 million into 30 day after? Question mark. Or did they end up losing it all? Question mark. With me is all depends what kind of business you want to create, right? If you just want to create a business that maybe makes you $300,000 a year, you're going to have to work hard. But if you want to make a $100 million company, work is all you're going to do. Period. There's no fucking middle ground. Working hard and smart, yes, it is combination. But it comes on start of any business. You want to work smart, but you got to give 100 hours a day if it does exist. But you will come to the point when business reaches certain level where you will get other people to work hard and smart on your behalf so you can cruise. But for you to get to that level, you're going to eat a lot of fucking shit to get to that level. And what I mean by that is you have to give it all. Not a little bit, not 50%, 70%. Any business that you decide to start, there's always a hungrier fucking guy across the road that wants to do better than you. So if somebody else wants to work 16 hours, if he's working smart and hard and you're working smart and only 8 hours a day, that guy's got upper hand. He's going to fucking outwork you. And he's going to take business out of you. So how the fuck you want to compete with the guy across the road who is working smart just like you, and you're working 8 hours and he wants to work 16? one of my very good friends. His name is Josh Tesselin. He's number one real estate agent in Australia. Makes over $8 million in commission as a real estate agent. He outworks everybody. This guy, if he's sick, he goes to work. If his nose is bleeding because he hasn't fucking slept well for 5 years because he works 7 days a week, 20 hours a day, he outworks everybody. He's a fucking smart operator, but he outworks everybody. So any young kids that are watching this and they see all the fucking fun stuff, Lamborghini and Ferraris, and they want to have that fast, I will ask them one question. So far, how is it going for you? So you've been trying something for 3 years. You haven't worked so hard. You've been working so smart. How is it going for you? If it's going really well, keep fucking doing what you're doing. If it's not going too well, wake the fuck up.
And with that, though, because I'll play devil's advocate with Josh, is his name, right?
Yes.
At what point do you think it becomes unhealthy?
He's a professional athlete in his field. Yeah. He loves what he's doing. He's so fucking passionate. This guy works till he passes the fuck out every single day. To him, that's what drives him. He loves it. So he will probably stop when he's dead because he's fucking loving it too much. Or you know what? He might do it for 5 years and going to say, you know what? Now I don't want to work 20 hours a day. I want to work 2 hours a day. But that time, he's going to have a $60-70 million in his bank account. Yeah. He paid the price. With me, I've worked 7 days a week, 16 hours a day for very long fucking time. Very long time. Very long time. Very long time. Now, just when I was walking in here, I was planning my week next week, and one of the things that I'm so excited, next Thursday, I'm picking up another supercar, and after I pick up my car, I'm organizing, one photographer is going to be shooting all my 6 supercars in one warehouse, and to me, that's my hard work next week.
How many cars? So I love that, because you were talking about that before we started, and you're like, you're buying all these cars now. I'm like, when are you going to stop? And you're like, you just got to keep buying, and I love it, because that you're literally just playing, but you've spent the last 25 years,
eating shit.
Right?
Lots of it.
And the thing is, these are the conversations I want, because people will see. It's easy to sort of see, like, say you're on social media now and go, oh, he's got these cars and he's got this and he's doing this. And even me, like,
anybody can have it too. What stops anybody?
Right?
That's what you want.
And on my social, like, I travel a lot and I do lots of things. But the thing is, there was so many years as well where I was so boring. And it's annoying, actually. But it's like, I know for you, but I'd love to hear what it was for you. But for me, what made me stay in on a Friday night still when I was 22 and want to build my business instead of going out with all my friends was thinking one day I'm going to wake up living on the beach in Mexico. And I did that at 23. Quit my job because that vision was the thing for me. I'm like, one day, because I know that the suffering I'm going through now is going to pay off. What was it for you that allowed you to go through just continually eating shit, the 16-hour days, the 7 days a week?
The trick is, I didn't see it as a bad thing. I fucking loved it. I loved it. I never lived for my destination where I am today. I lived for the fucking action. I lived for the hustle. That was my fucking juice. Right now, it's irrelevant. Me having so many cars, who gives a fuck? What I loved then and now, when I started my companies and creating great things and fucking shit up, I loved the role, man. I loved the hustle. I loved outworking everybody. I loved the journey. And that is the fucking secret to success. Because if you're just going to say, fuck, and I can't wait for me to be in position where I can buy Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Porsches, and I have it all now. But what? You're going to work 20 years and be miserable fuck and then enjoy it when you get there? What if you die in a fucking process and you never enjoy how to live? Enjoy the hustle, enjoy the grind, enjoy the progress. That to me is success, and that to me is my juice.
There's a quote, he who is not courageous enough to take risks will accomplish nothing in their life. What's been some risks that you've taken that were scary at the time that have pulled off big for you?
You know what? I'm a risk taker, but I'm not a gambler. Big difference.
What's the difference?
Well, gambling is what I would call me and you buying shares in a fucking horse. Buying shares in a horse, hoping he's going to win his race tomorrow. And it's something that is out of our control. Risk to me is I'm putting money on this horse, which is my fucking self. And I know I'm good to go when it comes to racing. So any risk that I take, if it's a property risk, if I buy something for, $10 million and my cost is after development is 20 and I'm hoping to sell it for 30. If I don't sell it for 30, I get my money back for 20. That's not risk. If I'm starting a company with you today, it could be some online platform. And we tried, we put $500,000 each and doesn't go. We close it down in 3 months' time. That's not risk because we fucking learned so much and you got to pay for education. You don't go to fucking uni without paying the bill. So with me, what is the risk? That is scary. Nothing if you see it like that. With me, any business risk you take, it doesn't work out. It's university. Costs money, buddy. Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. So to me, I don't look at it as a scary. To me, going back to your fucking quote, risk is not taking any.
It's the paradox, isn't it? A lot of people think that they can go through life avoiding risk and doing what's easy now. But the biggest risk, as cliche as it is, the biggest risk is to actually not take any at all.
But all depends what you want out of life, man. Some people, somebody wants to become a firefighter. And they're passionate about that industry. Don't you dare ever do what I do. You're going to not enjoy it. If it makes you happy to be firefighter or police officer or freaking, have online business, you go what makes you happy. You know what I mean? And so we all got to change.
But even on that, to become the firefighter, there would be things that are going, it might not happen overnight. And there's going to be things to sacrifice during the time in hope that maybe you'll get what you want.
We all take different risks, and the risk is, to become a firefighter. I might end up spending a few years in school to get to that point, so everything comes down to, what you really want out of life. But, do I take risks? Far out. Of course I do every day, but I just see it as a fun risk, not as a bad one.
I have a sick obsession, and every single successful person I met does as well, of just taking risks. I've recently just got my skydive license. And that's my new, so I in business, taking risks, and it just keeps me going. It's just exciting going.
But and that maybe make for example, that risk will make you happy. Will I jump out of the plane? I don't see that. Would I jump out of the plane? I was like, to me, that's not what
you should come. Have you tried it?
I haven't. Would I try it? If I come to the point where I feel like jumping out of the plane, I'll fucking go and do it, But right now, do I have itch to actually go and jump out of the plane so I can prove myself I can jump out of the plane? That doesn't interest me. Yeah. But, a friend of mine that works actually for me, Harmon, he just went to Mount Everest. Yeah. You know what? To me, would I do that? Fuck yes. That, I was like, oof, I would actually enjoy that. Out of the plane to jump so I can shit myself a little bit, would that make me happy? Maybe it would, I don't know. I guess you don't know unless you try it, but I just don't have, a passion. I'm not, that's not my dream to, would I go and race my car 300 kilometers an hour on racetrack and freaking go crazy there? Oh yeah, fucking that's an adrenaline rush that I enjoy, and why not?
Well, when the time comes for you want to go skydiving,
I'm giving you a call.
You let me know.
You better become expert if we go there. And
what I'm curious to know, you as a young boy in Croatia selling things on the street, you learned how to negotiate really fast. I'm assuming you would have learned how to negotiate and do deals. You've made a whole life now out of doing deals. You're in property, you've got multiple businesses, you're down here. Your whole life, I'm assuming, is just doing deals and partnerships. So what are some key things? I'm just wondering if you've got some key things that on top of your head that have helped you in the art of negotiating.
Look, more we do something better we're going to become. When you start negotiating when you're 10 years old, you're not going to be expert, like you will be when you're 40 years old, when you have done 1,000 deals. But my advice to anybody that wants to do any kind of deals, any kind of negotiations, one thing that I've learned very young, listen. So when you want to talk to somebody about closing any kind of deals, just introduce yourself. How you going? What can I do for you? And let them talk. While they are talking to you, you're analyzing them. You're analyzing their needs, what their vision is, what they want to get out of this. And then, you're listening them and then putting the cards on the table before you start talking. Don't start, in any negotiations, in any deals, don't start talking without knowing what the other party wants. Otherwise, you're negotiating with your fucking self.
When it comes to doing a deal, because we had, Chris Voss. Yes. So he was on here, and that was one of the scariest moments of my life, actually. We did a role play of he was a terrorist calling me. Yes. And so we learned a lot there. And one thing he says, he's like, you've got to go in there and tell them exactly, you've got to figure out what they want first and negotiate from there.
100%. It's exactly what I said.
But then there was another negotiation expert here I met in Australia where he's like, you need to tell them exactly what you want first. He's like, so set the bar, because they may be thinking this, you go set it here. Because we've got two people who are both extremely well. What's worked best for you? And you're doing a deal if you're saying, this is what I want, you put it on the table first, or are you waiting for them to hear exactly what they want?
The thing is, there's no such a thing as a right or wrong. What works for you, for your personality, and also everything comes down to the situation that you are in. If I am buying a block of land, for example, that's $10 million, and I've done my research, I will speak, because I'll tell you what I'm prepared to pay. I don't even care, what your story is. So all depends on the deal. It's irrelevant. But even then, if I'm buying that land, I still want to know why you're selling it. So I ask questions. I ask questions and let the other party talk. But I can only speak what worked for me. I can't tell you what works for you. We all got different strategies, and I can only speak from my experience. So if you had two different guys that are both successful and they both have different strategies, the way they're negotiating and communicating to people, that's great for both of them. Doesn't mean what works for me will work for you. I can only speak from my own experience. Beautiful.
Emil, this has been awesome.
Thank you.
Where can everybody find you on social media? Check out everything you guys are doing.
Emil Juresic. Instagram, any other platform, I'm there, and I'm always love giving back.
Love it. Final question. Are you ready?
Yeah.
If you were to go back to your 18-year-old self and give him 30 seconds of advice, what would it be?
You know what? Interesting question. There's two ways of looking at it. One way, I wouldn't tell him anything. And I'll tell you why. Because when you're 18, you want to see life with your own eyes, and you want to find things. That's a beautiful thing. There's a beautiful thing about life. You want to learn, and, of course I want to tell him and I give him advice. Hey, buddy, life is going to be fucking hard. Life is going to beat you to your fucking knees if you let it. I can say you all that. I can give him advice. Be careful. People might want to take advantage of you while you're doing stuff. Other part of me, just say, hey, buddy, one advice. Give it all. Realize you're going to die one day. You want to do something, just fucking do it. Because life is too short. Before it's finished, you're going to be 85 years old. It's going to be game over. And you don't want to be one of those people that's going to be regretting anything. Everything I would tell Emil, even if I can give him advice, I would just tell him, you're 18 here, and there's another Emil there, 44. Just keep fucking doing whatever the fuck you want to do as long as you get there. As long as you're happy on the end.